Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for being here, wherever you're joining from. There's a lot of talk in the chat already, I see. That is always fun to see. Welcome, welcome. So, if you're new here, welcome to the show. We are going to answer questions throughout the stream, talk about streaming gear, video gear, microphones, accessories. I've actually got a lot of things to show you over on the demo table, so I'm going to try to make sure we get to that pretty quick here. But good to see you all in the chat. And I see that some people have noticed some of the problems with my map. So yeah, the map, which is up there now after the intro, is fun. But yes, sometimes it thinks that you're saying things that are places that are actually not places. Although it did find Gwen in rainy San Francisco, which is great. Yes, Raul says, I said hi MT and it marked me in Montana. Oops, yeah, because MT is Montana. It's not perfect. I might have to narrow down the allowed list of words that trigger a location. Like maybe maybe you'll have to actually say from in order for it to trigger it. That'll like reduce the false positives, because most people are saying from like the reluctant marketer from Meckenheim, Germany, or hello from Nashville, or Mike from, what is Cleckheaton? I've never heard of that, but hopefully the map knew where you were. MediaRex from Las Vegas. So yeah. Oh, Matt says it figured out Music City, USA. Nice, yeah. Great. Okay, if you have a question for me that you want to make sure I see and doesn't get lost in the chat as we get going, make sure you start your message with the letter Q, or just mention my name, but letter Q will filter it better out in the stream here. And then we will make sure to get to those, even if the chat scrolls by really fast. So, okay, we've got we got to get things moving because I've got so many products to share today, which is exciting. A couple of sneak peeks of unreleased products and a couple of new things. So it'll be fun. And yeah, otherwise, drop your questions in the chat. Hans says, can we get a sneak peek of the secret product you were invited to see earlier this week? No, it is not. Okay, so I can share a couple of things that were sneak peeks from that event, but I can't give you all the details yet. All I can say is I'm very excited. If you missed last week, I went right after the stream on Sunday last week. On Monday morning, I went and took a flight down to LA and met up with a bunch of other bunch of creators and some people from RØDE. And it was a small event that to get a sneak peek of a new product they're working on, which I can't say anything about other than I'm very excited about it, and I will absolutely share it as soon as I can. Yes, I'm very excited. So I can't unfortunately give you more information than that, and it as much as I want to. Oh my gosh. Okay. But they also sent me back with a couple of other things that are cool and not out yet, which is fun, and I can share those. So we'll take a look at those on the demo table in a bit. MT says, will I be at IBC this year? I'm just like, will I even be at NAB? So that's my first step. But I'm going to try to do both again because I have plenty of airline miles to get there. We'll see. We will see. I hope I can pull it off. Oh, there were some questions way at the beginning. Let's see. Where was that? Yes. You got the ProStreamer DSYU stand for the YoloBox Ultra to go with the YoloBox Ultra. My question is, try to look for something compatible, but failed. Shipping fees from eBay are so bad. I don't know what the question is. No, I mean, I think that's a great stand, but clearly I'm biased. Michael says, we're going to go bother Lyria, then one of you will crack. Yeah, well, hopefully not. I think we're all professionals. We will see. We will see. Hello, Scott from Houston. Matt says, my son bought me a YoloBox Ultra. So any add-ons I need to order? Oh, good question. Well, why don't we just go straight over to the demo table and take a look at some of the things over there. Okay. Oh, my teleprompter is on the wrong thing. There we go. Okay, now I can see that the audio is working. Great. Yeah, so YoloBox Ultra. There is a new cage for it from NX3D. Let me grab that link first and drop the link in the chat. It is this one. And that looks like, let's see, where's the right camera for this? This one, I believe. So it's similar to the cage for the, I need a little bit more light in here. I think this camera is just a little bit dark. Let's bump that up a bit. There we go. So the cage itself is very similar to the cage for the Pro. However, obviously it's bigger because the Ultra is bigger. And normally, so at first glance, it's the same. It's got the same aluminum rail at the top. I put nuts in it, which is what you're hearing sliding around. So that's so you can like bolt on the monitor stuff to the top and the bottom. So you can do that to the bottom if you wanted to as well. So it holds it in place. But the cool thing about this one is the little pop-out feet. So now this is a combo cage as well as desktop. So then now it's at a nice angle to actually use it well. Because it's really awkward to use it flat and have to like look down at it like that. So that's super cool. That is a fun. This is a great option for the YoloBox Ultra. But yeah, I would say this is a pretty good first thing to get. Other than that, the YoloBox really is a all-in-one thing. You don't need to get too much else with it. Now I'm realizing I don't have all my camera angles here to see what's going on. Let's do that. So yeah, the YoloBox, like other than a way to actually mount stuff to it and use it on a desk, it is an all-in-one, right? So it's connect all your inputs. You use the touchscreen to control it. Oh, and there is, I haven't installed this yet because I don't have an Android phone, but there is a new Android app that's in beta for actually remote controlling the YoloBox. So if you have an Android phone, give that a try. And that is good to see that happening. So I'm excited for that. I will, I guess, try to track down an Android device. I guess I have tablets around here, but I have like Amazon Fire tablets, but those are my only Android devices. So it's not like a great test of it. Anyway, yeah, so that is number one, I would say. Okay, good. Questions coming in. Oh, Steve says, would the YoloBox Pro fit in the cage? No. So it is, the YoloBox Pro and the Ultra are completely different sizes. There's no way to use one with the other. So any accessories that are like holding the YoloBox in aren't going to work between the two. And there is a YoloBox Pro cage from NX3D. However, it does not have the little feet. It's just the cage. I have it somewhere. No, that one's packed. That one's packed up. So yeah, there's a cage. Yes, there is a cage for the Pro, but it doesn't have the little feet, unless they've added the feet to that one, which I don't know. I don't think so. Also, while we're on YoloBox accessories, there is also now, by popular demand, a YoloBox cage, a PK1 cage for the Mini. So the Mini previously only had a stand for it, a desktop stand for it, but now we have this cage for it as well with an optional sun hood. So I'll break this down in a sec to show you what's going on. Let me drop the mini. Did the link come through in the chat? Yeah, okay. I dropped the link in the chat a second ago. Let me drop the link to the mini in the chat as well. Did that go? Yes, great. So the mini cage is also very cool. Take the little tripod thingy out. So if I grab my wrench, you'll see how this attaches. So you can you can choose whether or not you want to use the hood. And I'm going to show you without the hood because it's a little bit easier to see the rest of the product. I need the Allen wrench that came with it because I can't get all the way around one rotation with my fat one here before it gets blocked by the hood. Where did I put those? Yeah. So that one's also a little dark. Which camera is this? 361. I wish I could name them in this Panasonic software. This is like my one complaint. Is that I can't name the cameras, so I just get these little hex codes of like their MAC address. Okay, I think it's that one. So yeah, if I take off this hood, there we go. Now you can see it clears that, so I can actually get all the way around it. Let's focus here, please. No, come on. Nobody claims that the Lumix cameras have the best autofocus. Okay. There we go. Now that I've got the hood off. So it actually comes with shorter screws if you're going to not use the hood, because these screws are now obviously too long for that. So if you swap out the screws for the shorter ones that it comes with, then you get the screws in all four corners. But this is the cage. So now you can see it basically just like sandwiches the Mini and it holds it in place here. So mainly what this is doing is giving you these cold shoe mounts on the sides and the ability to attach that hood. So this is great because then you can take like a wireless mic receiver, slip that into the side here, and now you run your little short audio cable into the YoloBox, or USB, I guess, if you want. So do that on the side. You could do a light on the other side or something like that. And then if you want the sun hood, then yeah, you can put the sun hood on as well, and it just kind of all becomes one piece. So it's nice. Great for using this outdoors. Great. Let me see if there's a chat. Oh, Steve found the link. Great. Yeah, I dropped it in the chat a second ago. There it is. Oh, we are working on it. Oh, good. Okay, so that means I assume that was about the YoloBox Ultra cage with the feet. We'll get an update to the YoloBox Pro cage that'll include the feet too. It's a really clever design. Just kind of attaching it to one of these little holes in the side here. So great. That is good news. Marine says, I own a pretty good 3D printer. Can I buy the plan and just print one out? No, this is not sold as plans. This is just sold as a product. It is 3D printed, but there's also a little bit more to it than that. There's a lot of little bits and bobs here and there. Hey, we have a new channel member. Thank you very much. I told you guys I was going to become a member. Here we go. Thanks for all the hard work. Well, thanks for joining. Yeah, so speaking of channel memberships, one quick note on that. So this, if you remember the New Year's Eve marathon live stream that was 9 hours long, I brought a bunch of other guests onto the stream throughout the course of the day and had conversations with them about whatever they were working on. So I re-edited those down into little standalone videos, and those are going to come out throughout the course of this week, 1 or 2 a day for the rest of the week. But they're all already posted for channel members. So if you're a member, you can go watch the interview now, and then it'll be released to the public throughout 1 or 2 a day for the rest of the week. So you can go back to those interviews with the people, the guests I had on, and see what we talked about, which was a lot of fun. They're cut down, so they're not like, there's like some of the gaps and dead air and technical glitches and stuff is all removed. So it should be more fun to watch the replay this way. Is the YoloBox Ultra Android app in public beta? It's in beta, but and Larry's asking about it in the Google Play Store. I don't know. I don't think it's available in the Play Store yet. But if I remember correctly, there is a way to actually download it. I just don't know what it is because, again, I don't have an Android phone, so I haven't bothered trying yet. But if you go to their Facebook group, they're pretty active on Facebook, and you can probably find some info there about it. Matt says, oh, this is for the YoloBox Ultra. Matt says he ordered a cage for it because it's going to be used on the road. I don't think your holder will work for it with the cage on it. I mean, this one is a replacement. It is a cage. I didn't know there were any other cages available for the YoloBox Ultra. I remember that YC Onion made one for the Mini, but I haven't seen one for the Ultra yet. But no, like there is you use one cage at a time. So you would pick the cage you're going to use, and that is the cage. This one just is the cage. Yeah, Lee has the YC Onion cage for the Mini. Ready to use and has multiple shoe mounts and quarter 20 mounts. Yeah. No, the YoloBox, the YC Onion cage is good too, but just different. Oh, sorry is really easy. Really easy to use. Sorry, ready. Okay, yeah, got it. Autocorrect. No, they're both good cages. So it depends on what you're looking for. I think this sun hood on the NX 3D cage is a great addition to it. So if that is something that you need, then this is the one to get. I should probably actually properly attach these again so that I don't accidentally make it all fall apart. Okay, and we've got one more special launch product. Just get that tightened up again. You might notice sitting back here. Okay, put that one away. So, like I mentioned earlier, earlier this week, I went down to LA to visit with some of the folks from RØDE. They were on a tour doing other events and shows and stuff. So they organized a little get together and sent me back with a couple of fun things like the RØDE Wireless Pro, as well as a couple of unreleased accessories. So I don't have a link for these yet because they don't exist yet, but these I can share with you. And I am excited to share these because these are actually really, really neat little cages. So totally different. Oh, I need my phone for this. Totally different genre of things, but these are smartphone accessories. So for this one is called the phone I had to take a picture of, I couldn't get everything back home with me in the original retail boxes, so I had to take a few things out of the boxes. Okay, this one's called the RØDE Magnetic Mount, and it does not exist yet, so I can't send you a link, but it is coming out soon. So it is this modular thing, which, let me take it apart. So it starts with this little disc, and it's just this little disc, but this is MagSafe. So you just pop it onto your phone. Now it's got a 1/4-20 screw there, so if you wanted to do like attach it to something like this, now you can already just like use your phone at an angle, right? Obviously that's not the best tripod head for this. If you use a head that can actually get to 90 degrees, that would be better than this one, which kind of limits, it's limited to that angle. So, you know, different head would make that more useful. So this is a start, but you can also use it with these little extender thingies. So this one is a 1/4-20 on the bottom. So you just slip it in and it just kind of latches into place, which is a pretty cool design. And now you can put your phone on it like that and then attach this to a tripod head of some sort. And then you can keep going. So after you get that one in there, you can be like, oh, actually, I don't need that. But I do want to be able to put a microphone attached to my phone. And now you got a little cold shoe attached to your phone. So you can go that way, you can go that way, or if you didn't want it to be that long, you can use a little short one. And oh, you can even go other way around. And now you've got a little spot for like a microphone up here or mic receiver. Take the receiver end, put it there, run that into your phone, whatever you want. And you can do multiple. You can say, I want a cold shoe over there and a cold shoe over there. So it's just this really cool modular accessory for iPhones, using iPhones as cameras. I brought this home. It was really funny. So I came back Tuesday night, and then on Wednesday, Lily brought back a new recording kit that she got from work, from OPB. They were getting some new, like, they got a new iPhone for filming stuff out in the field, and they were trying to get accessories for it. And she was mounting it to she was trying to use the Rode receiver and put it on a gimbal. And, you know, you're like, how do I put the receiver on the phone? Do I want to just clip it onto the phone? No, that seems fragile. And I was like, you know what? This, how about you just borrow this for the day? And that was what she did the interview with. So that was great timing. And they're going to get it as soon as it's actually out, which is fun. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think it's a cool little phone accessory. And just choose your own adventure. And then totally different version of that is a cage version. So this comes in two parts. It's the cage part, and then it's got a 1/4-20 screw, and this, you might notice, is the same round piece as the other one. So you can screw this in, and now, oh, you can line up the holes, right? There it goes. So then you just, again, stick your phone. Now you've got a MagSafe phone cage rig. And now you've got all these 1/4-20s and cold shoes everywhere for all sorts of things. So you can again, if you want to do a bigger version of this, then yeah, you just, you know, put that there, attach lights or whatever. They got these little nice holes so you can make things not rotate once they're attached. So it's cool. It's very cool. I'm excited for this. This is also not out yet, so I don't have a link for it, but I'll, you know, update the description once it exists. And this one is called the phone cage, RØDE phone cage. Their names are very straightforward, so that's nice. Yeah, cool little way to rig out your phones. Yeah. Let me take a look at the chats here. See what... oh, we got whole conversations happening now. Okay. The... Okay, I'm going to see if there's any questions about the cages here. Oh, thank you for joining as a supporter of the channel. Welcome, welcome. The building sheriff says, is there any way to clamp cables on the PK Mini cage? Where did it go? Not really. Because we've only really got the two... Yeah, this one doesn't have any way to do cables. This we've really got only the two cold shoes and the sun hood. Another thing is I've acquired the ATEM Mini Pro, and I know I can stream from there as well as using a cable connection. Will it work better and more smoothly compared to OBS once it's bad for me? I don't quite understand the last bit of that, but yes, generally, if you're streaming from the ATEM Mini Pro, it means your computer's doing a lot less work, and that's the main reason that I like streaming from these external devices. I wonder if the DJI Android controller for the DJI Mini would work. I'm all Apple except for one MS Surface PC. As a way to install the YoloBox beta app. Can you install apps on the controller? I don't know. Oh, wow, Steve, this is a new thing that I can't show on the stream. Best I can do is show my computer screen. Thank you so much. I didn't realize this was a thing. Steve has gifted 5 memberships. Look at this. This is really cool. Thank you, Steve. I didn't know you could do that. And who got them? We've got Dylan, Denise, Technobuzz, Image by Steve, another Steve. And I'm sorry, I do not know how to say your name. Yolkilds. How did I do? Guards Brewery. Congratulations on the lucky winners. I think it assigns them at random based on who's been talking throughout the stream. I'm not totally sure how YouTube chooses who gets the memberships, but that's super nice. Thanks, Steve. Oh, funny, they show up here, but I need to do some work to make it show up about what happened. But now you're all showing up as members. Great. How fun. The Tech Preacher says, great channel, been watching a bunch of your videos. Well, thanks for being here. Matt says, yes, you can. You can install apps on the DJI controller. That sounds like a weird thing to do, but could be fun. Install the YoloBox remote controller app on the DJI drone controller. That's funny. That's super funny. Okay. Gwen says, any thoughts on a compact iPhone 15 cage with mounts for USB hub and SSD? Something smaller than the larger RØDE cage you demoed. To send to switcher via Blackmagic camera app and backup recording. Yeah, I mean, this cage is not exactly small, although honestly, if you look at the bigger phone, so Lily had the giant phone from work. This is not the big phone. The bigger phone actually takes up almost the entire cage, so you can't get a whole lot smaller if you want to support the big phone. This would definitely do it. You can clamp all sorts of stuff to here, so maybe start here, but I haven't looked around for other cages that are like smaller. I would like a smaller cage just because my phone is not a massive phone, but honestly, like this thing might just be the answer because it's like the shell of a cage, right? Could even like, I wonder if they sell these. I don't know if they're going to sell these parts separately because it's all modular. So I could like put another cold shoe on this side, another one down there if I could buy more of these parts. So that would be 4, which is something. And then it's not really a cage, it's more just a hold your phone, but you can now mount stuff like the SSDs to it. David says, have you had any exposure to mini robotic arm camera setups? Bolt is one of the companies making strides. Only what I've seen at NAB and IBC. I haven't actually like used any myself. They look super cool, and I'm excited that tech is like coming down in price, because they've been very expensive. So yeah, that'll be cool if that stuff becomes more accessible. Matt says, I'll give it a try, but I'm in Vegas most of next week, so it could be 2 weeks before I can report back. No worries, no worries. You will probably get to it before I do anyway. Okay, let me put the phone accessories away, because I also have one more fun thing to share, which is... Don't need that. Gwen says, I've been looking at stackable MagSafe to keep things relatively compact, but I haven't figured out a solution I love yet. Interesting. I could see that going well and also poorly. Yeah. Okay, another NX3D rig is this one. This is a new, sorry for the giant massive cables back there. Try to keep it clean. This one is a little rig for the StreamerX with a monitor mount above it. So you can put any kind of monitor up here. Like the StreamerX is the 4K capture card from RØDE. I haven't done a video about it yet, but I am working on it. There's actually a pretty cool, there's a pretty cool way to use it for recording Zoom meetings. This is something that I keep coming back to because it's surprisingly not super easy with any of the solutions out there. Because I want to record Zoom meetings in better quality than Zoom recordings get you, with nice layouts and stuff like that. And I did a video about it now, I think it was like 2 years ago, about doing it with the ATEM. The trick with the ATEM Mini Extreme is that if you take one of the outputs and route it back into your input, you can actually record the super source as an ISO video feed. And the super source can be your layout, and you can feed your main camera to Zoom. So that works, but it's like, obviously the ATEM Mini Extreme is a big thing. And there's no monitor on it, so you need a monitor also. So I am working on a video to do the same thing with the StreamerX. So this is a capture card where you plug in a camera, and then it has a pass-through out. So it's a pass-through whatever's on the camera, but it's also obviously an audio interface. And that means you can use like a good microphone with it directly and not have to deal with your audio in a totally separate device, separate from the ATEM Mini. So this is already a great just capture card, but I want to be able to use it to record the Zoom meeting. So to do that, I took this cage and stuck the Magewell Director Mini on top. So the Magewell Director Mini has the ability to do the kind of side-by-side layout that I want for the recording. Let's grab that. Make sure I turn that off. So with the side-by-side layout, you can see the, what's that? It's going to 14. So I can actually show you the screen of the Magewell Director Mini. This is what the Magewell Director Mini screen looks like, where I've got my main camera, I've got the computer feed, and I've got the side-by-side and like a title card. So I can cut between all of these. And this is now, this is able to record, one or two of these things. And this is all completely separate from what's going on with the video feed that is in the computer, because the computer is getting the feed from the RØDE capture card, the RØDE Streamer X. Anyway, I have a video about this that I'm working on. It's actually kind of complicated to show how it's all wired up, so that's why I will save the full description for that video. But it's very exciting. So, and this is just such a good little kit for it. You got the StreamerX attaches because there's a quarter 20 screw on the bottom, so it attaches to this cage with that screw down there, and then you've got this monitor arm on top. So it works like, you know, like most, where there's like a screw to tighten the tension, and then you can adjust the angle of the monitor depending on what you want to do with it. I like it kind of like that. So put a Magewell Director Mini up here, put a YoloBox up here, put just a screen up here just so you can see a copy of your camera if you want. And yeah, it's great. Matt says, how do you get the audio since the pass-through HDMI doesn't have audio? Yeah, this is like one of my, and I don't want to call it a complaint because I get why they did it, but if there was one thing this could do that I could add to it, it would be this. What they did with the Streamer X is it is a purely pass-through HDMI, which makes sense because one of the use cases for this is game capture. So if you have your video gaming machine running into that, you need to send a copy out to your screen with as little latency added as possible. So if they were to do any processing, like change the audio that's going out the HDMI, that means reprocessing the feed, which means adding at least a frame, probably to like other devices, which then is not good for games. So the HDMI out is a purely pass-through. I wish that there was a way to change that, like maybe a second HDMI out that had the audio mix from the device. So the workaround, the workaround for that is to send the audio out from USB. So one of the things they do have is 2 USB ports. So one USB port goes to the computer, which is the high-speed USB. That's going to give you the video and audio to the computer. But the second USB port is just USB 2, and it only does audio. So you can take the audio through USB into the Magewell and set up the audio there. So the with the audio mix, you can go and you go here, and now you can see USB audio coming from the Streamer X. So I can turn that on, and now whatever's happening in the Streamer X is being sent into the Director Mini over USB, and it works. So I can put my my sound effects from the button pads, and whatever you're doing here would get sent out to that USB mix, which is cool. So that's the workaround, and it does work. It's pretty cool. The other cool thing about the Streamer X, which I am digging into and trying to learn more about, is so the main thing that you use, or the default, I guess, thing that you use to control the Streamer X is called RØDE Central. And it's this app where you get your audio setup options, and it lets you customize quite a bit that you can't see on the device itself. So this is like, we've already got things like, okay, we've got the microphone XLR input, or you could switch the microphone channel to be a wireless mic. You can choose what to do with the HDMI audio from the input, whether you want to, if you click unlink, you can choose, do you want the audio on your stream or do you want it on your headphones? And you can do the same with the 2 USBs. So the 2 USB audios are both directions. So it's input and output for audio. So my computer is plugged into this, which means I actually see Streamer X as an audio device in my computer that I can output to. And then that is coming into USB 1. USB 2, I'm not using the input because that's the Magewell Director Mini, but then I can choose that as an audio input on the Director Mini. But so this is already like pretty good, right? You can choose, you can do things differently. I can say, oh, I don't want my USB audio from the computer to go onto the stream. I only want to hear it in my headphones, right? So then you could, what that does is if you're in Zoom, you can hear your guests, but their audio won't go back out your stream back into Zoom, which is good. However, then it also won't be recorded. So there's a totally other way to use the Streamer X, which is called the Rode Unify app. And what this does, oh, you have to close Rode Central first. This like takes over the device, and let's see. I have to get it connected again. Is it connected? For some reason, it needs to get plugged in again for this app to see it. There we go. So now it is taking over the Streamer X, and where'd it go? Oh no, it crashed. Okay, I'm having some problems with this on my M2, but it works fine on an Intel Mac. Okay, now we're good. So here, this is where you can do all sorts of things. You can say, you can actually use all of the inputs and outputs at the same time now. So I could say, okay, I do want input from the HDMI audio. I also want input from a microphone and a wireless mic. And these are now like virtual inputs that show up on my computer. So my computer sees a bunch of audio devices, and I can choose my system audio to go out of this channel, like chat, but I could have another app output its audio to this audio device. And now I can mix them separately. So once we got the channels chosen, now I can choose what I want to do with all the channels. So let's say, for example, I want to send out the USB to. I don't want to send certain audio mixes to that. I can make different audio mixes for each of these, for each of the outputs, including headphone or back to the computer or even the monitor out. Like, it's really powerful. And there's all sorts of EQ settings and stuff in here too. So it can really do a lot. There's a lot more to it than I originally thought. However, the only problem is right now I'm running into some glitches with the M2 chip on my Mac Mini. So hopefully they can get that fixed, but we will find out soon. It worked fantastic on the Intel Mac when I was testing it though. And I've heard people have no problems on Windows. So yeah, super, super cool. Anyway, keep an eye out for a video about that because I've got a fun little tutorial. Fantastic said, just got here. What are we doing? We are talking about some Rode gear and some new NX3D cages. And yeah, just checking things out. Lee says, I did a Facebook stream directly from my YoloBox Mini. Chat would not show up on the Mini. What could be the cause? I don't know. I've never tried Facebook. I thought they had integration with Facebook. I unfortunately don't know. You do have to make sure you're not using the RTMP feature though, because that won't make chats won't show up anywhere if you're using RTMP. You have to use the Facebook integration directly. But I thought they had built that out. So maybe it's a setting on, I don't know how Facebook handles like the different settings as far as event privacy and stuff, but yeah. How can I connect my Zoom trackpod to the ATEM Mini Pro so I have the sound coming into it? The trackpod has USB output and the ATEM Mini has audio P2 as audio inputs. I don't know what the Zoom trackpod is. Let's take a look at that device really quick. That is, oh, PodTrack, not trackpod. Yes, I do know what that one is. I actually got it because I was hoping I could do some cool stuff with exactly this. However, yeah, there is, weirdly, it really is like only built for podcasting. So there's 4 headphone outputs that, you know, so people sitting around the table can listen to it. But the only audio output is USB, which means you can't use it with the ATEM Mini because there's no USB input on the ATEM Mini. It does work to take an audio out of one of the headphone jacks and go into the ATEM Mini. If you're getting weird results, double check the line mic level in the ATEM settings, but it does work. It's just not like meant to do that, but it'll work for you if you don't need one of the 4 headphone jacks as headphones. Kind of a weird option, but technically it works. Yeah, I wish they had just a line out on this also. I don't know why they didn't do that. That would make this a lot more useful. It's Too bad that it's really just only for, it's a recorder and then USB audio interface. But yeah, would have been cool if they had made it also have a line out. Oh, okay, we're getting some tips on the Facebook. Lee says, I was using the direct Facebook integration. Okay. Gwen says, Facebook issues could be if you're streaming to group versus page versus whatever else. That's true. Yeah. There's, and also permission stuff. Tiernan says, I think there's a line out. I don't think so. I have it over there. I can go grab it, but I remember looking at that and being surprised about it. If it does, then that solves all the problems, but I'm pretty sure. Let's see if we can find. So, okay, this is, right, that's input for the TRRS. It's weird to call them headphone inputs on here. I guess this means this is a, no, TRS input. So this is for the Bluetooth device if you want to connect to the Bluetooth device, or you can connect other audio devices in. But yeah, there's just the inputs, there's a power button, SD card, USBs, and then the front, there's XLRs there and headphones down there. So there's no other audio out. Yeah. Funny. Simon says, hi from Australia, 5 a.m. here and hot. Oh, yeah, huh? Peak at the summer, I guess. Are the headphone jacks mix minus though? I don't think so, because normally in like the podcasting world, everybody wants to hear the whole mix, including themselves. So yeah, I think it's just, I was able to stream to my personal account, but the business page I own was a no-go. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised about that, unfortunately. Yeah. Simon asks, I have a Rode Procaster original. How can I integrate with the newer ATEM Minis? Okay, now I have to look up that one. Rode Procaster. So many models of these things. Is that... I'm guessing this is just XLR. We don't get any other photos. Yeah, output XLR. So to use this with an ATEM, you'll need to have some sort of audio interface going XLR into a mixer of some sort. So there's tons of different options for that. One of the ones, what do I do with my... That's weird. I grabbed, oh, it's sitting next to me. I was like, I have a wireless camera here that I set up for this. Is this still on? Yes, it is. One of the ones that I use regularly, which I'm actually using right now, is this Zoom F6, and it's sitting under the teleprompter there. So that goes XLR in, and then that gives you a line out that you can bring into the ATEM Mini. I'm actually using it out into the camera that's behind the teleprompter, but I'm a big fan of that one. I like it a lot. It's a 32-bit float recorder, 6 channels, so more than you need. They have a mini version of it as well. So that's another option. But yeah, you'll just need some way to take XLR and turn it into an analog 1/8 inch device. I forgot that I had that angle, and that looks better when I'm showing you this. Oh, Matt, thank you for the super chat. So I'm sure I'll have many questions when I get the Ultra, so here's an advance thank you. I appreciate it. Please come back with questions when you get it. It'll be fun. Oh, we have another fan of the Zoom F6. That recorder is fantastic. Yeah, it is. It's solid. Like I use it for, this is what you're hearing me from right now. So I have a mic up here going into that, which goes into the camera, into the stream. And I guess actually lately I've been just recording in the HyperDeck directly, but sometimes I will also record on that recorder itself to grab the 32-bit audio if I'm feeling fancy. You're the only person to ever say my name right. That's incredible first try. Oh, well, great. Oh, Rodecaster Pro, not Procaster. We're talking about, it's funny. The names of things. Procaster, Rode Procaster, or are we talking about the Rode Caster Pro? Two completely different things with weirdly similar names. Procaster or Rodecaster Pro? Okay, if this is what your question's about, I'm almost certain this has a regular line output that you can use with the ATEM Mini. So, no, okay. So yeah, there's 4 headphone outs, but they do give you this output. So you'll need a cable that goes from dual mono 1/4 inch to stereo 1/8 inch. I don't know, but this might be an option too, is the mobile phone one, but I can't remember exactly what this does on the Rodecaster Pro. Again, I've never actually used a Rodecaster Pro before, other than just poking at it when it's been on display somewhere. So but it has a ton of mix of audio options in there. This one's probably your best bet, because this is just a simple cable you can get, is the dual mono 1/4 inch on one end, single 1/8 inch stereo on the other to go into the ATEM, and then you'll get a stereo mix in the ATEM. I have so many of those cables, probably over 20 years old at this point. Oh, you do have both. Okay, Procaster and Rodecaster Pro. I think the Rodecaster Pro is overkill. I also got a cloud lifter, but I've removed it due to the preamp already being okay. Yeah, I think that was like one of the things with the Rodecaster, is that like they made it work with those mics without extra things in between. I bought a cable, but it was bad quality. Any tips on high quality cable that will just work? Man, I haven't had a problem with a cable like that in a while, but I guess just don't get the cheapest one. The other thing is if you're hearing buzz on it, that's not necessarily a problem with the cable. That just means there's a ground loop somewhere, and you can get a ground loop isolator, which is like an $8 part, and that should remove it. Oh yeah, HOSA cables. I have a bunch of those. Those are good for sure. And yes, if you do have more Rodecaster questions, Tom Buck is the man. Matt says, I'm a Sound Devices Mix Pre fan over the Zoom, but if you run sound for 5 decades, you would know sound guys don't like Zoom. It's a long story. Yeah, I've heard that. Yep, I've heard that. I don't know why. I've heard very good things about the Mix Pre also, but it's very expensive. But I could benefit from it here just because it would absolutely kill the little hum that this rack makes when it's on. So but that's like an extra software license add-on onto that device, which is funny. Okay, got a question here. Should I try Ecamm first on my Mac Air M1 or use the ATEM Mini? Way better in terms of streaming speed. What do you think? Well, there are 2 totally different ways of working with streams. So I think you'll probably end up liking one or the other vastly more than the other. I believe Ecamm has a trial. So so try that, but like the main difference you're going to run into first, especially on a Air, is limited camera inputs to get into a computer for any kind of software video switcher. So if you have one camera that you only going to ever use one camera, and the rest is going to be like graphics or whatever, then you just get a capture card, simple capture card, into your computer, plug in your camera into that, and now Ecamm sees it like a webcam, and that's fine. But as soon as you want to do more than one camera, now you're going to need more than one capture card in order to get those all into Ecamm, and then you're starting to talk about needing a bigger computer and needing more expensive capture cards and things. So if you're doing it with a laptop, you can get like an external enclosure for a Thunderbolt card and put a 4-channel capture card into that. But that's now like a whole external box. I actually have one over here because I'm experimenting with stuff. By the way, Doug sent over I just bought Doug's 2110 gear, so that's going to show up next week. I'll get back to that if anybody is curious. But yeah, so big chunky enclosure, put a 4-channel capture card. Now you got 4 channels of video into your computer, but now your computer needs to handle 4 channels of video, so you're going to need more processing power. The airs don't have a fan, so it's going to get hot, and it may just throttle itself eventually. So, you know, with one camera, fine, absolutely fine. The other big difference is if to do things other than your camera. So if you want to have graphics or logos and stuff, Ecamm has it all just built in. It's super easy. You just like set it all up, import files from your computer. It's really simple to do it. On the ATEM, it's more complicated, and you have to go into like your media pool, prepare your graphics at exactly the right size, and then you can only have like 2 or 4 loaded at a time, depending on what ATEM you have. You have to use your downstream keys to do it, which there's a limited resource. So it's like, it's more cumbersome, but once you get it all set up, it's fine. And that's how I do it. So, you know, this is why I've got like all these preset things loaded in here. Like, by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. I have this little animation running in the media player. But yeah, so you can do the stuff in the ATEM. It's just more complicated. So if you don't want to fiddle with stuff, Ecamm might be better for you, or OBS even. But it's a personal choice at this point. Like here we've got Raul says, I tried Ecamm for a year, definitely prefer hardware. That's fair. And oh, Michael's confirming 14-day trial on Ecamm. Good. I tend to prefer hardware stuff too, obviously, as demonstrated by the giant pile of gear behind me. But again, it's just up to you as what you're actually going to like working with. Oh, hey, Curtis is here. Good to see you. It's quite interesting to see how some of us prefer hardware and others prefer software encoding apps on the computer. It seems like gamers prefer building powerful PCs and OBS. It does definitely seem like gamers are absolutely more than willing to go full software for everything. But I guess it kind of makes sense, because if your content is already on a computer, then it's not, and if you need a powerful computer for gaming, it's not like that much of an extra step to go and make it also work with video. Although sometimes you need 2 computers for it, because the computer's all busy with the game and you need a separate computer for the video processing. But then you're used to building out a powerful computer, so it's not a big deal. But it is just a totally different way of working with gear. Okay, where was I in the chat? Oh my gosh. Being Australian, I'm a big RØDE fan, along with Blackmagic. Yeah, and now that RØDE bought Mackie, so now all the Mackie stuff is Australian. That's how that works, right? Fantastic says, the problem is that the Rodecaster Pro will output line level, but the input to the ATEM Mini is mic level, so you have to pat it down or send really low levels. No, there's a switch for it. So in the ATEM software control, I have to go over to my Mini to do this, because I don't think the big one has it. This one will have it. So if you go into the settings, into the audio, then into general, then you've got the options here. So you've got 3 options for your inputs. You have 2 mic inputs, and you can choose mic or line or microphone power. So if you are connecting a mixer, go and make sure you change this down to line level, and then you won't need to worry about dropping down the levels in your mixer. But if you are connecting like a Rode receiver, make sure you change that to mic level, because this outputs mic levels. But yeah, definitely there's a setting for it in there. No fan on the MacBook Air means problems for Ecamm, OBS, etc. Yeah, I mean, basically what's going to happen is it's going to overheat and then throttle the CPU down, and then your stream is going to be really unhappy. So you can definitely stream with OBS and Ecamm successfully. You just need a better computer. Good to hear on the 2110. Can't wait for the Chaos Router road test. Yeah, the 2110 stuff is going to be fun. That's going to let me send 3 video feeds back and forth over a single Ethernet cable. So that'll be fun. That will be fun. York Gwyn Walters says, what's your recommendation to remove buzzing or humming from audio from a church live stream? As we use an X32 to Scarlett and then send it to OBS. Of course, we use an ATEM Mini. First, try to reconfigure how things are powered to maybe eliminate it that way, because if you can eliminate at the source, that's better. But what will happen is, like, if you're plugging one thing into that outlet and one thing into that outlet, and they're like not on the same circuit, you can end up creating ground loops just because of the building wiring. So if you can fix it by changing how things are plugged in, that's better. If you can't fix it because the building wiring is too old or whatever, then there's a little device you can get, which is called a ground loop isolator, and they're super cheap, and any brand is fine. They're like, you can buy them for like $8, and the that you plug it basically just in line into an audio cable. So on your way in to whatever is having the buzzing, just put that in line, and then it removes the buzz. I actually have one here because I have this problem too. So if you look at my little mic setup here, so my mic cable is going into that device, but right down below it, see that little kind of black box with the 1/8 inch cable in it? That is the ground loop isolator. So I have the output of the F6 going through that little box, which then goes up to the camera. And it's because I was having a problem where it was just buzzing, and now it's fine. So again, like, you're hearing me through what would have had a very buzzy connection, but it's removed the buzz, which is good. Michael says, I love the flexibility of software switching, but for any mission critical stuff, I'm using hardware every time. Yeah. Yep. Pretty much. I prefer vMix, but then I'm not a gamer. Yeah. Which one would you recommend, YoloBox Pro or YoloBox Ultra? If you can afford it, I would absolutely get the Ultra over the Pro at this point, because it has a newer generation of CPU, so that means they'll be able to do more things with it for longer than they will with the Pro. You also get an extra HDMI input, which could be useful, but other than that, the main difference is the just additional CPU, so you'll be able to do a lot more stuff. I love to use the Rodecaster Pro too. It'd be good to use its USB out to the ATEM if it could handle it. USB audio in the ATEM would be interesting, but does not exist right now. Curtis says, I completely agree. Software is so flexible, but when doing something I'm getting paid to produce, I prefer hardware. I've had fewer reliability issues with hardware. That's generally how I have approached it also. Gwen says, software is great for smaller gigs with no iMag, much friendlier to my back than bringing all the heavy hardware. Yes, this is true. Hardware, it takes a lot more hardware to do the same thing that you can do with a single computer, which is a downside. But if you are projecting something in a room, then you are almost certainly going to have hardware for that, because otherwise the delays are too bad. And yes, Curtis says, hardware is not 100% reliable either, to be fair. As we have seen many times on this channel, as various devices that I have around here crash. But it's fun. One of the things I do like about the hardware crashing, though, again, it's back to the whole modular idea of, like, if this audio device in front of me goes down, I can very quickly switch over to something else. But if my audio subsystem in Windows crashes, like, I have to reboot the whole computer and taking down the entire stream, right? So it's like, I can, even if my ATEM crashed right now, I could recover faster than I could if a computer crashed. So that is the nice thing about hardware. Ralph says, hello, why is it difficult to use 3.5mm jack to get sound from the PodMic into Zoom H4n Pro? Oh, Curtis already answered this. The H4 has a 3.5mm input on the back. There you go. And secondly, how are you getting the questions asked on the screen? I have a whole video about that. So search my channel for chat. You should find it. Let's see if I can find the link really quick. Yeah. Wow, it's an old video now. I'll drop the link in the chat. Oh, I think it's in the description too. Yeah. Now we've got the hardware software debate going again. Hardware seems more reliable. I found the Epiphany Video Nano to be best for streaming reliability, which is hugely expensive, but I'm getting paid. For a small charge, will you advise they start with YoloBox or ATEM Mini Pro? Also, which camera will you advise for live stream, Blackmagic or Sony mirrorless? Okay, so, oh, MT, thank you for the reminder. I just forgot to put it on today. Let's get this. No? No? I might have to reload it. Let's see. I don't know. Well, maybe that's why I didn't show it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah, this is a tough question because there's not enough information. How small is the church? Because, and most importantly, who's going to be running it? I would say that the ATEM Mini is probably better if you are going to be using it in a fixed installation where it's either you running it or you have ability to train people to run it, but it will require some training in order to use. You can make a lot of problems go away with a Stream Deck and making buttons to automate a lot of the show. But it will require more training to understand how to use it and to understand how to troubleshoot it. However, it'll be very reliable once you get it going, and I think it'll work well and be not fiddly once it's going. The YoloBox is a lot easier to start with. It's a lot more flexible because it can do a lot more stuff out of the box. You will have to add fewer things to it in order to use it. However, there's no way to use a Stream Deck with it, so you're forced to be controlling it on the touchscreen. And it doesn't, like, some of the settings kind of go away between weeks, so you'll have to do more kind of setting up before the show every time. So the way I look at it is the YoloBox is clearly meant to be a portable all-in-one kit. So if you're using it for things where you need the portability and don't want to bring a bunch of stuff, then that's a better option. But if you aren't moving around and you're just like building out an installation, I would go with a hardware and ATEM setup where it's like it's there, it does the thing, it doesn't ever change, and you can spend the time to like incrementally improve it by adding more gear or adding more automations. Oh, and then the other part of the question was cameras. Jason makes a good point. Sony mirrorless will overheat after 2.5 to 3 hours. The Sony mirrorless cameras, yeah, well, I know some of them don't overheat, so it depends on which ones you're talking about, because there's a huge range of them. But like I had my overhead camera, which is not what I'm using today, but previously my overhead angle was a Sony A6400, which is kind of an old camera now, but it was rock solid. It would never overheat. It can just be powered on 24/7. And it's actually sitting upstairs in the set for Lily's studio. So she's using it as her overhead camera now for her streams. And it's just on all the time. It's no fuss. But the fancier Sony cameras are they're not meant to be broadcast cameras. They're meant to be fancy video cameras. So yeah, some of those overheat. you might be fighting with some of the settings because it wants to be used differently. The Blackmagic cameras, not necessarily the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, but the broadcast cameras are meant to be for installations. And I don't have this one yet, but one of the ones that I've seen now a lot of people receiving is this little tiny one, Micro Studio camera 4K G2. And as you can see from their hero image, like, you put it up there, you forget about it, and it does its job. So I think that's a great option for that kind of installation. It is so small, and you can just put it in wherever you want, and it'll run. It runs SDI in and out so that it can run on really long distances. So that's probably a better option for like a fixed installation. Okay, wow. Lots of stuff in the chat. Zach says, I didn't receive your live stream alert email today. I wonder, oh, you know what? I think it's my fault because I accidentally put the time wrong. I accidentally set the time as 10 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock. So I think my thing was scheduled to send it out late. My bad. Siggy says, if you're in Portland, I recommend PCH Cables in Hillsboro. I'll check it out, yeah. Scott says, with the Zoom recorders, you need to make sure the 1/8-inch TRS jack provides a low-voltage power source if you're plugging in an inexpensive lav mic into it. Oh, yeah, good point. Matt says, as a church consultant, normally the ATEM is what we use. I'm doing a youth group right now with the YoloBox. See, that's a good example of, like, the YoloBox is easy for someone just to walk up to and figure out how to use, but so it depends on the context. Jonathan says, I was able to grab 3 used Sony RX0 Mark IIs for my set it and forget it setup. No autofocus, but no overheating either. Yes, another good option. I forgot about that one. I used to use it as a little camera showing what's on my desk. And yeah, I never had it overheat. It's just on all the time. It's fine. It's a good little camera. It's a weird camera because, yeah, there's no autofocus and there's no external lens. It's all just one. It's like GoPro sized, but it's good for that. Another vote for a Sony that doesn't overheat. I have a Zoom PodTrack P4 and I have the same hissing problem with my PodTrack P4 and the same hissing happens. Yeah, try the oh yeah, someone pointed out that make sure you're using balanced cables and not unbalanced. And then yeah, maybe depending on what the hissing is, it might be the ground loop also. Canon PTZs are great for fixed installation, but you need budget. Yeah, those are like $2,600, I think, is the minimum. Oh, another good channel recommendation. Churchfront and AJ the CEO both do specialize in church tech. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the comment. I love your channel. I built my streaming studio just by attending and watching your videos. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Thanks. And yes, people in the chat are the cherry on top. Oh, yes. Another good tip for Matt, look at camcorders because they never overheat and very good zoom lens and cheaper and easier. Again, going back to who's going to be operating this, because the last thing you want is to have people have to run around to the cameras every week to set them up. So set it and forget it is great, and camcorders are another good option for that. I haven't bought a camcorder in a long time, but I went that route when I was doing even just filming conferences, because it's less stuff to bring than a lens and extra batteries and stuff, and the camcorders are meant to be powered from a wall, and like they have better zoom built in. So yep. Nil says, did RØDE say if they're producing the accessories themselves? I think they're even doing injection molding in their own facility. I didn't hear about this part of the question. I don't know. But it's an interesting question. Morris says, have you had a chance to play with the new DJI Mic 2? A little bit. Mine arrived last week. I just got it last week, and I mainly got it because I want to pair it with the DJI Pocket 3, because we've been using it to film the House Files videos, and it's nice walking around with just a tiny camera that's super light. And now with those paired directly to it, I don't even have to have a receiver with a cable. So that is the main reason I got it. And so I've only played around with it a little bit, but I am excited for it. A lot of competition in the wireless mic space now. Man, really, really tough. Curtis says, my understanding is that some accessories are manufactured elsewhere while their flagship products are manufactured in Sydney. Makes sense. Is there a way to get lower thirds from Easy Worship into YoloBox? I've never used Easy Worship, but if they have a web page output, then probably yes. So YoloBox has a way to add a URL as like an overlay. So as long as you can get a URL for your graphics out of that, it'll probably work. If you don't want cinematic, camcorders are fine for most cases. Yeah, I guess they're not really the cinematic look, although some of them can get close. How much do you want to spend is the real question, I guess, which is always the question. Great. Okay. Did I? Oh, this one from earlier. TVJ says, thank you for fixing your chat plugin. Yeah, this was a whole thing. So I managed to track down some of the problems. So the chat plugin is the Chrome extension that I made that shows comments like this on the stream. I'm not actually using it today, but I'm using a lot of the same code. Mine just works a little differently. But you can just download this extension and use it. The link for that it's down below. But it was glitching out because it like takes over the YouTube chat screen and then reformats things, and it was glitching out a little bit. So I spent some time to fix it, got it working pretty well, I think. I haven't heard anybody complaining about it since I published the update last week, so I hope that means it still works. Although I haven't actually looked at the reviews on the Chrome store recently. Gwen says, I love camcorders for live events where I'm operating manually. Quicker to set up, less stuff to bring in, easier to operate. Some compromises are image, smaller sensor, and variable aperture. Oh, yeah, true. Yep. White robe like lab professor. No, this is a hoodie. Oh, I'm glad you're still using it, Curtis. Tell me, if you ever have any glitches, tell me, because I want to make sure it keeps working for you. Okay, what else? Was there anything else on this desk that I wanted to share? We've got, is this one still on? Oh, that's not in focus. We've got the RØDE Streamer X. We've got the YoloBox Ultra cage with little flip out legs. Very cool. The new RØDE phone accessories, which I don't have a link yet because they're not out yet, still in beta, but cool little way to mount all sorts of stuff to your phone. Oh, the mic stand that I have on the desk is relatively new. And this was also sent back to me from this visit by RØDE. What is the right shot for this? So this mic stand, I'm actually really impressed with it. So this is, it's got these 2 adjustment points, so you can get it to a lot of different angles. And the base is like so heavy, which makes sense because you need it to support a lot of different weights of things on it. But this is a really cool stand. This one is called the DS2, I think. There should be a link in the description to this. If not, I will add it later. But I just strapped the cord to it to keep it a little tidier. But yeah, cool stand. So I'm using this for this little rig of StreamerX into the Magewell Director Mini. What I'm doing is I'm working on a video explaining how to set up your set up a way to record a Zoom meeting into this or stream it live with like a nice layout instead of just the so a layout like this where you have like a side by side, and then while Zoom gets the video feed from the StreamerX. So that video will come out at some point. I don't know when. You've made more than a few YouTubers happy with the work on the chat plugin, no doubt. Yep. Good. Philip says, any thoughts on whether Magewell might be working on a larger director video switcher streaming encoder since the first one they released is the Director Mini? I don't have any particular inside information on this. Not even under NDA. I just don't have any information about it. But it would not surprise me. I would 100% be not surprised at this point. The Magewell Director Mini is still relatively new though, so I don't think they need to launch a new product right now. I think they would benefit from getting some more feedback for a little while. But I could absolutely see them launching a bigger one. It would be useful. It's pretty early, but do you have anything to say about Apple's Vision Pro, positive or negative? I did not buy one. I'm not planning to buy one. I liked what Casey Neistat said at the end of his video, which is that this is the worst Apple Vision Pro that they will make. And I agree with that statement for sure. I think it will only get better from here. It looks great. It looks like amazing, but I don't have any use for one right now, and I will look forward to when they get smaller and more affordable. That's my thoughts. Do you have a tote bag or crash kit for gigs that includes your tools, decimators, gaff tape, etc.? I should, but no, I don't do regularly enough like things outside of the studio to have a bag for this stuff yet. At this point, most of the stuff I'm doing is in the studio. So when I'm going out, it's just for either like filming my own stuff somewhere where I'm also like the speaker. I'm also presenting, so I'm not going to go and bring a whole thing. But that's actually one of the things I'm curious about this, if this rig will work for it, which is can I get this kit small enough where I could actually see bringing it on a trip to a conference I'm speaking at, or and to actually do better recordings of that. We will see. Magewell Director Maxi. Apple Vision Pro is facial computing, not spatial computing. We have sound from Dante and another mixer and sent it to Ustream, then to YouTube. When I listen to the stream in mono, there's a distortion on the sound, almost like I'm listening in a fish tank. Oh, weird. I don't know about that one. It is, I've never used Dante Audio either, so it could be something, let's see, fish tank. That sounds to me like maybe it's a sampling rate mismatch. I'm trying to imagine what fish tank sound means. I bet Curtis has an idea though. Matt says my son has one, and as a first version, it's amazing. I don't doubt that it's amazing, but I also agree that it's the worst one they'll ever make. Magewell Director Pro Max Ultra. Hopefully they're a little bit better at naming than other specific companies. Can you please do YoloBox streaming and Zoom meeting? I've not been super impressed with the USB output of the YoloBox video. There were definitely some quirks at the beginning. I don't know how many of them have been fixed. I don't think that's the best use for the YoloBox. Weird sound effect. When I listen to it in stereo, it sounds perfect. Oh, so mono sum out of phase. Yep. That seems likely if it sounds fine in stereo. What are you doing says, sounds like a phase issue with one or many channels. Do a virtual sound check and try to pick out which instruments or elements sound the weirdest. I checked crowd mics first. Magewell Director Mini versus YoloBox Pro. What are your thoughts? This is a tough one. It's tough because there's some overlap and there's some differences. I guess well, I would compare it to either the YoloBox Mini or the Ultra. And the reason for that is because the Mini is the same size physically and similar number of inputs. And for that, so there's that. But then the Ultra is like, I don't think there's a lot of reason to get the Pro anymore, frankly, the YoloBox Pro, because the Ultra has the better processor and it's slightly bigger than the Pro, but it's not like so much bigger. Whereas the Mini is so much smaller than the Ultra that there's a lot of good reasons to get the YoloBox Mini instead of the YoloBox Ultra. So the comparisons I would make are Magewell Director Mini, YoloBox Mini, or YoloBox Ultra, and then things look quite a bit different between. I mean, the YoloBox Ultra has more inputs than the Magewell. They are now adding NDI and SRT, which is great. Those are still relatively new, not totally baked features yet. So they're getting closer to each other. Still, the big one for me that makes the Magewell Director Mini more useful in more scenarios is the remote control aspect of it. Because once it's turned on to the network, you can go pull up the web interface and control everything from there and load in files and things like that, which you just can't do on the YoloBox. The closest they have is the Android app, which I'm going to have to go find an Android device or use my drone controller to test it out. But yeah. IDJ Mike says, if you were buying some new hardware in the next 2 months, what would you hold off on buying? Microphone, camera, all in one box, etc. Based on what you know today. And yes, it's a trick question. I will no comment. No comment. Elijah says, do you know of a good chatbot that works cross-platform on YouTube, DLive, Facebook, X, Twitch, and possibly Rumble? Chatbot, no, but the there is a good chat tool for at least showing comments, but I have a feeling that's not exactly what you are asking about. I never upgraded my plugin to work with other platforms, but Steve, who made Video.Ninja, also made, let me see if I remember the name right. This is the current one, right? Yeah. He made Social Stream, which is the same idea as my chat plugin, but it works with a bunch more platforms. So it'll at least pull. He has so many more options too. Yeah, here's all the places it supports. So all sorts of stuff. And I'm just not going to do that because his is fine. So use his. I'm not making any money from it anyway, so I have no reason to spend that much time working on it. Unfortunately, it's not a chatbot. Yeah, okay. I don't have any tips then. Kevin says, I downloaded the latest Blackmagic software to connect an ATEM Mini. I have the Mini connected to the computer using USB-C and through the network. Software sees the Mini, but won't connect. Sees it as in like, that's not good. If you mean that like it sees it here, I'm assuming you mean that like this setup app can see it. So this is where you can change the IP address. Double check the IP address, first of all. Make sure it's not set to, oh, I'm not connected over USB, so I can't change it. But if I was connected over USB, it would let me change the settings here. So double check that. Make sure it's showing an IP address that's on your same network, although it should connect over USB also. Try clicking this button, because this will try to connect to that, which might like force it to connect to it differently. Also, does it show up under here? That's the other one to check. And if it doesn't, then that's confusing, I guess. Raf says, I have an ATEM Mini Pro that recently developed a fault. The HDMI out stopped working. Oh, that's a bummer. I stream with USB. How can I send multi-view out of it and stream via USB at the same time? Can I use the internet port to take video out? The only option for your multi-view is the HDMI, and that is a bummer if that stopped working. Try contacting Blackmagic support, because depending on when you bought it, maybe it's still in warranty and they'll fix it. But that's a bummer if the HDMI stopped working. Sees it in devices but won't connect when clicked. Double check the IP address. I'm wondering if that's the problem. So make sure that what is that city name? Dr. Lincoln P. Lickness Doe. What in the world? I'm guessing it's an IP address issue. So if it's like the default IP, then if your computer doesn't have an address on that network, it won't be able to connect, even though it might discover it on the network. So make sure that you've set it to an IP address that's on your main network, or use DHCP, and then it should just figure it out. Matt says, I'm correct that the YOLO has the ability to built in to display chat messages. Yes. So if you stream from the YoloBox if you connect a YouTube account to the YoloBox, you have to go like log into your Google account and everything. If you connect it that way and start a stream from the YoloBox, then it's using the okay, what's going on with the weather ticker? Something is going on. Huh. I might have to troubleshoot that later. Got some weird looking place names down there. But yes, if you are logged into YouTube on the YoloBox and stream that way, then it's able to use the YouTube API to pull in the chats and show them on stream. There's a couple of weird things, like I think like the memberships don't show up, similar to my problem earlier today when we had Steve gifting a bunch of channel memberships. But the regular chats show up no problem. If you're streaming via RTMP, then it won't show up, because it doesn't know about YouTube then. It's just generic RTMP. Elijah says, may I ask what mic you're using? I'm looking for a mic for my streams that I can place out of frame when I'm on camera talking. Yeah, I am not a big fan of the look of a mic in frame, honestly. Like, I know a lot of people like it. I just don't like it. I don't want to run the stream like this. I've seen some pretty bad versions of it too. But I prefer doing the mics just out of frame. This one is, I think this thing is still on. Yeah. Let's see if I can focus before this battery runs out. So this is mounted to, wow, this is like my macro lens, so it's super shallow depth of field. So it's mounted to that pole, which is the pole that my camera is mounted on. Let's just do autofocus. There we go. So teleprompter, C-stand, a pole up there comes out, and then we've got the camera, overhead camera, and a mic here. So it's just kind of sitting, focus. Nope. There we go. Yeah, so this is the Audio-Technica AT875R. I've had it for a very long time. Let me grab the link. AT875R. Is that the right? Did I get that right? I did. I'll drop that link into the chat. I like it a lot. It's a good mic. I've had it for ages, and I have one here and I have one over there, and then actually it's the same one that I have on Lily's studio upstairs. Oh, thank you, TechnoBuzz, for the super chat. Thanks for all your continued support. Thank you for all the questions. I appreciate it. Matt says, as a producer and consultant, I've set up about a dozen ATEMs, and I always carried a spare. It's true. Yeah, my camera is set to show the zoom, the focus magnetic out on the output. I don't know why. What do you use it as an interface? Oh, I showed that a second ago. It was the Zoom F6. So that goes into the Zoom F6 here, which goes into the camera. The other one actually runs straight into the audio mixer, though, the X32 rack. Can you use a BGH1 with a Hollyland wireless transmitter? Sure, yeah, absolutely. Mine are all hardwired in, but I have a Hollyland transmitter up here on this camera. This one, I like this one because it has a HDMI and SDI. So I'm running HDMI into the GH5 camera, but I could run SDI from the BGH1 camera into this, no problem. This is a good one. This is the 400S Pro. Yeah, not a problem at all. It's not me, I swear. I don't know who Dr. Lincoln Lickness is. IDJ Mike says, I've had a 3D printer since 2017. I love to play and tinker. Do you do your own designing of your stands and cages? So I did do the designs for the original PK1 cages, and that was kind of how that all started. And that was 2021 or something now, a while ago. And on my live streams, I would often like demo the modeling software I was using. So you can go back to some of the old ones and find them probably. I'm sure if you search my timestamps, you can find them too. Let's see, what is that link? Timestamps. Yeah. So here, go search there, and you can maybe find some of the older videos. This is my little when I remember to put chapter titles in, which apparently I haven't done since January 7th, then it gets indexed and you can search through them here. Good reminder to catch up on some of those though. Anyway, so I used to do the designs for those, and then once I started working with NX3D to actually get them created and shipped out, they started doing the designs for the newer ones. So all these new things are designed by them, like the RØDE thing and the StreamerX and the cages and stuff. That's all their designs now. They're doing a very good job with it. So they have carried that torch. I still do little random things for my studio, but I haven't like sold any products that I've 3D designed. But I think I mentioned some of them in my little studio tour video, like this. Still really like this one. SD card holder. This was really a challenge to get the tolerances right so that they just stick and don't fall, but also don't, because it's just like friction holding it in, and it's as thin as it gets. It's not possible to get any thinner than this, and it's like exactly credit card size, which is cute. But I haven't sold this. This is just for me. I just have these around the studio in a few places. My whole battery wall, all the little mounts for the individual battery chargers, those are all things I've sketched myself and made. Nils is trying to hack the weather map. Okay, I might have to change how this works. Don't make me change how it works. Bad things happen if you set up a mic this way is if you have lots of background noise. My mic is in the seam because it is set up to cut out background noise until I talk into it. That is true. If you have a noisy room, then the way that I have the overhead mic is going to pick up more of that noise. This is still very directional, so it's pretty good. But yeah, it's like 18 inches from my face. So obviously if I have a mic here, which is 4 inches from my face, it's going to be better. It's going to reject more of the noise. This pod mic also is like super amazing at rejecting background noise. I was very surprised. Anyway, yeah, you may not have the option of having an out of frame mic just because you might need to reject more background noise. Raph says, is there a way to stream with Canon DSLR cameras with HDMI without having the camera info display on the screen? Their webcam app requires the use of USB cable, which are usually short. Oh yeah, some Canon cameras have clean HDMI out. You have to go into the menu to do that. I can show you what it looks like on, this is not a Canon camera, but it'll be similar. In the menu, there will be like I don't even know where it is. Oh, battery's about to die. This is about to die. HDMI connection? No. There's a different one. Wow, I'm so bad at using my own cameras. Anyway, there's a setting somewhere in here which is like, oh, there it is. Do you want the info to show up on the screen or not? Some of the cameras have this. Some cameras don't have that feature. I guess I should just turn that off now that the battery's dead. So check your camera to see if you have that feature. And if not, then no, there's no way to do it other than USB webcam out, which is not going to work well with the ATEM. But plenty of the Canon cameras do have clean HDMI out. Speaking of background noise, I don't know if you can hear that. It's Sunday today, so they should not be working, but they are because mistakes/miscommunications, and they are now fixing a bunch of drywall. So they're out here ripping out a bunch of drywall out of the house. That's a different channel, though. That is the House Files channel. Did I link to that down below? I should always add a link to that because I feel like I keep doing a mini House Files update every time I do a live stream. Matt says the best shotgun for out of frame is the Sennheiser MKH50, but it's not cheap, but nothing beats it. Yeah. What is that? How much is that one? MKH50. $1,200. That's not as crazy as I thought. The mic I'm using is $170. So that's a bit of a price difference. That is definitely a bit of a price difference. That is $170 for this, which is the one I'm using right now, versus $1,200 for this. And I absolutely believe this is a lot better. But you also can just spend $170 and it's pretty good. So, and I've had multiple of these for years now, so they've been super reliable, no problems at all. Yes, check out the House Files. Okay, we should probably wrap this up. I think I got through all the things I wanted to show today. But yeah, keep an eye out on the channel for a video about this because I am excited about this little rig for recording Zoom meetings, and it is a complicated wiring diagram that I'm gonna I'll give you a sneak peek of the actual wiring diagram because I have it in H2R gear. And I'm excited about it though. It'll be a good little setup. So it's a combo of StreamerX, Director Mini, laptop for Zoom, audio, 2 audio feeds, main and secondary, a microphone, and a camera. So, see what we can do. Okay. Tom Buck, Gerald and Dunn, and many others use the MKH50. Maybe I should switch to it and see what happens. Although I don't want to buy more than one because that's expensive. Thanks, Curtis, for joining. PK community is growing. Thank you all for your activity. Indeed, indeed. Thank you all. Can I have your email or contact to reach you? There is a link below. I don't have a ton of availability for stuff outside of the streams, but there is a link below where you can see if you would like to set up a time to chat. Other than that, thank you all for joining. Thanks to all the channel members for your support. Thanks to the extreme supporters, Michael and Marcin, for your support of the channel, and to all of our Pro and Mini supporters as well. And as Scott says, over 100 people watching and only 10 likes. I think there's more than 10. Somebody said they saw 41. But yes, do give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, give the stream a thumbs up, and we'll come back here next week to get into more trouble and see what else we can break. And at some point, I will be able to show you a new RØDE product that I am very excited about. But I don't know when. I don't even know when yet. So don't hold your breath, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Is that an actual? I think that might be an actual place name. Thanks, Nils, for trying to break my map. Yes. Okay. That's enough. We will see you again next week. And yes, Matt, see you all next week with my YoloBox Ultra questions. Maybe I'll make sure I set mine up so we can poke around the menus together and show you some stuff. All right. Thanks. Have a great week. Bye.